Dear learners, in the previous video, you had an insight on evaluation of supply chain decision using net present value technique. In this video, we will discuss on supply chain strategy and its impact on cost, intra-company transfers and transfer pricing methods. Let us move to the aspects of supply chain strategy and its impact on cost. Introduction to supply chain strategy. Supply chain management is a challenging ground where long-term diplomacies focus on demand dynamism, catering the need for integrated mechanism, product optimization for supply management, and cost minimization for sustainability. All the elements of the strategy clung on financial outcome, ultimately aiming in adding value at minimum cost. Let us review the relevance of supply chain strategy on cost. Supply chain strategy and its impact on cost. Supply chain strategy, fundamentally being in the purview of management, depends on the prediction of product price. Price of a product certainly depends on the market condition. Price fluctuation has wider impact on procurement, level of inventory management, economic order quantity, classification of goods based on the value and volume. In order to leverage the cost of product in the supply chain, firm focus on its structure, with basic structure operating as lead firm, collaboration with supply chain members, partnership with supply chain members, tiers based on significance of the product, integration, lead firm controlling the supply chain member. In all the above situations, firm controls cost by way of optimal sourcing of products through the adopted premise of supply chain structure. In the next part, let us deeply analyze certain strategic plans such as intra-transfer policies and its impact on financial outcome. Supply chain planning and financial implication. Supply chain planning is based on product demand and supply. Cost of supply chain should be viewed from the perspective of demand and supply for a product. This entails integration of various plans, conceptually called as intra-organizational transfers, to leverage the demand fluctuations and tax implications in different locations. In the process of intra-organizational transfers, determination of transfer pricing is very essential to evaluate the cost and benefit. Transfer pricing. Firms with intensive vertical integration are mutual in transferring the products and services between its strategic business units. It is a method to determine the exchange price when goods are transferred at intra-organizational level, either domestically or internationally. Objectives of transfer pricing. Cost considerations internally and offshore sourcing distinct the objectives of domestic and international transfer pricing. Domestic transfer pricing fosters greater divisional autonomy, motivation to strategic business units, appropriate performance evaluation, and better goal congruence. International transfer pricing aims at less taxes, duties and tariffs, minimizing foreign exchange exposure, better competitive positions, and governmental relations. In international transfer pricing, the companies will, instead on charging transfer price, will slash tax bill or boosting a foreign subsidiary. In international trade, for example, a firm sending intermediary parts to a foreign subsidiary will charge a low transfer price to reduce customs duty payments when the goods cross a country's boundary, or it will help the subsidiary to compete in the market with low cost, gaining cost leadership. So, it helps in keeping the subsidiary's cost low. Alternatively, a firm may charge higher transfer price to a subsidiary when its country norms follows stringent foreign remittances, or it may help a multinational firm to shift income from one country which has high income tax to another country where liberal tax policies are followed. So, a firm can operate transfer pricing strategically to leverage the international customs policies. Methods of transfer pricing. A firm may follow any appropriate method of transfer price in relevance with firm's internal situations, subsidiaries exposure, exchange rate impact, cost situations, tax norms, trade restrictions, and so on. Let us see few classifications of transfer pricing and its relevance to certain conditions. Cost-based transfer pricing. Cost-based transfer prices are helpful when market prices are unavailable, inappropriate, or too costly to obtain. Example, the product may be specialized or the internal product may be different from the product available externally in terms of quality and customer service. Cost-based transfer pricing methods include variable cost-based transfer pricing method and full cost transfer pricing method. Variable cost transfer pricing excludes fixed cost, means relatively low transfer pricing, encourages buying internally when the firm finds products at high cost in the market or products are in scarcity. It is more appropriate from the overall firm's standpoint when there is excess capacity. It is not favorable to the seller if the seller is a profit or investment strategic business unit since the seller is not recognized for profit. Full cost transfer pricing includes total cost in pricing, which may be irrelevant in short-term decisions. From the perspective of buyers, fixed costs should be excluded in the buyer's choice of whether to buy internally or externally. Market-based transfer pricing. Market-based transfer pricing is based on the market demand and supply. It is a competitive pricing method which helps to preserve subunit autonomy. There are certain limitations where often intermediate products have no market price, should be adjusted for cost savings such as reduced selling costs, no commissions, etc. Negotiation-based transfer pricing. The most practical method of transfer pricing method when there exists conflict between strategic business units and supports decentralization. There are certain limitations such as non-consideration of tax rates, needs negotiation rule or arbitration procedures which reduce autonomy and may also lead to sub-optimization. Conclusion. Transfer pricing is a technique, if followed appropriately, will increase enterprise holistic profit. In the next video, let us analyze transfer pricing with illustrative examples.